So first of all, I wanted to start out with the game on Thursday night because I think it became a big topic. Especially since then. First of all, Thursday night, terrible game. Denver Broncos lose to the Indianapolis Colts at 12-9 in overtime. One of the worst games I've ever watched. And I did not stay up on Thursday night to watch it. I'm just going to point that out. I watched it, which is the way I watch a lot of games now, recorded the next day, because you get a lot. I think you get a better perspective when you just see the nuts and bolts of it. So yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to say, man, Denver is bad. Like the Colts are bad too, but Denver is shockingly bad. Like Denver is like bad, but they shouldn't be bad. Like it's surprising that they're not better than that. The Colts to me, it's really simple. Like their offensive line stinks. So when your offensive line stinks, Matt Ryan's not going to be pretty limited when.
Yeah, and they don't really have weapons at wide receiver. So
yeah, I mean, not that it would matter. He's got no time to get them the ball.
He's got no time to get him the ball, and I wonder just if Matt Ryan's kind of washed. But
I don't think he's washed.
If he was on any team with weapons and there was bad offensive line, I don't think it would matter. But yeah,
I don't think he's washed. I just think he's got to be in a certain system in order to succeed, and you can't put him behind a bad offensive line and expect for him to play well. Like it's just that's not who he is anymore. He's one of these guys. He needs the right situation or forget about it. He's not going to carry you to anything. So yeah. And then, the next day the topic came up. Well, Russell Wilson, is he not the same guy anymore? Like what's wrong with Denver? Blah, blah, blah. And, this is my take on it. Look, I think from what I see, watching some of the clips on YouTube and stuff, what I see is that Russell Wilson is mentally just not all there. He's not making the right reads. He's not making good decisions. He's not throwing the ball where it should be thrown. He's trying to make plays happen that aren't there. And I think, I don't see anything with him physically. Obviously he's like 33 or whatever he is. So he's not going to be the same guy he was when he was 23, but he's good enough to be a really good quarterback in the NFL. From what I see, he just, it's all stuff that he's got to work out that I think it can be worked out, but Denver does so many things wrong that I don't know, it might not even matter. Like when, they're catching the ball 9 yards deep in the end zone and bringing it out. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say to fix that. From what I see, I can just say Denver has talent. There's really no excuse for them to be a bad team. They have enough talent to win games, and they have more talent than Indianapolis does. There's no excuse for them losing like that and playing like that at home. Now, first of all, it's Thursday night. Okay. These Thursday night games, I think for the most part, we can throw them out. I think from this point on, the first month of the NFL season is basically extension of the preseason because there is really no preseason anymore because nobody plays. So that and Thursday night games, I don't know what I'm watching. Like, what is this? Now Denver's looked like that the whole time, so it's not really like, you can't blame it on Thursday night. But yeah, I think, I've just got to think they've got too much talent for this to get better at some point. It can't. I just don't think it can continue to be this bad. And I think honestly, most of the stuff that Russell Wilson's doing, he can look at it on tape and go, okay, I think it's fixable. I don't think Russell Wilson's washed, but I think Denver has major issues. But I'll give you the floor.
Right. That's basically. That seems like what's going on. It's just they're not scoring points, and so it just kind of becomes a thing. It's like, why, they're losing 12-9, and then how many points did they score against San Francisco? Like 9 or 10?
They won.
They lost 11 to 10 or something.
Yeah.
They're just not, maybe it'll get better. I definitely think the coach may be in over his head. We'll see. Right. We'll see if it gets better, over the course of the season. but I don't know. It's not a good start, especially all the stuff that they screwed up in the first game of the season. Just with, we wanted to get to the 46-yard line and kick a 64-yard field goal. I mean, the idea that would ever be acceptable is like that's option A was, obviously ridiculous. And I mean, watching some of the highlights from the Colts game, I mean, it wasn't like the offensive line for Denver's not necessarily their strength, but I didn't think it was that bad. There were plays that he could have made. So yeah, maybe it's fixable and they kind of turn it around, but it's been kind of a rough start so far. It's funny because I was thinking about this. We complain about the Dolphins all the time, right? And it's just funny because there's other teams that we could be a fan of, and it would be much worse. Like we could be a fan of the Colts right now, and their owner is, weird to say the least. And they might end up firing their coach, and they keep doing this thing where they trade for a veteran quarterback, and it doesn't seem to really work out. The Broncos, they're tied to Russell Wilson now, so it better work because they're not going to get anybody else. I mean, they're already paying him like $200 million or whatever it is. So, it's just, there's been some really bad football, unfortunately, and that's a prime example of there's been some really bad football, particularly on Thursday night. So.
Yeah, it's so we'll see how it goes, but they're just it's not good. And it's the sad part is like Russell Wilson got traded to them and then was like immediately working with the we got some fans in the background making some noise.
Sorry, I apologize, guys.
They were I don't remember what my train of thought was there. The dog screwed me up.
The sad part was the sad part with the Broncos.
Oh yeah. So they traded for Russell Wilson, and then he was working with the receivers in the offseason.
Yeah,
like they were getting extra practice time in, and it looks like they haven't practiced at all. It's like, man, which by the way, that speaks to the coach. It really does, because there are teams who have come out this season and have looked much better than that, and they don't have anywhere near the talent that, the Broncos have.
Right.
So it's, it's insane. It's insane that this goes on. I mean, they may have, they may be in deep trouble and they may have screwed themselves because I don't know if they can make the playoffs, and that division's really tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Chiefs are, I think, clearly the best team in the division, which we shouldn't be surprised by.
Right.
The Chargers, I mean, can they put it all together? Can they be consistent? I don't really see it yet.
Yeah,
and then Oakland or Las Vegas is bad, it seems like. And the Broncos are obviously, we've been talking about them. They've got some problems. So.
Yeah, it's trouble. So, we'll monitor throughout the season, but I'm not moving off, the Broncos eventually being a good team. We'll see. Colin Cowherd is basically that, basically saying Nathaniel Hackett is not a head coach, and he thinks he's going to be fired, either before the season's over or at the end of the season. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway,